Yes. Welcome back to another saga of Hip Hop Hooray, Black Men Talkin Health. I am your MC for this evening. I'm Oya Gilbert, and I got a really dope program for you today. As you can see, we live in the building, and I got some of my constituents with me, and we're really excited about today's program. And we're going to be talking about your gut and dietary health and the things that we eat and how it's associated with a lot of some of the things we're seeing in today's current times with some of our hip hop icons passing away from health issues. And yeah, man, we all in that age bracket where we really need to get that done. But I want to introduce my illustrious guests, but I'm going to let them introduce themselves. I'm going to start off to my left here. What's your name? What's your status? Holla at them.
Hey, Randy Haskins. What else you need, brother?
What's your occupation, man?
Hey, I'm and what's my status? Hey, Randy Haskins. I'm a transportation manager for a school district in Delaware.
Okay. And my man on the right?
Eric Mosley. I am a educator, a behavior specialist.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
In Maryland. This dude right here, boy.
And last but not
least, Tony Goicuria, parts associate, also CEO of XL Originals and 1/5 of the God Squad that you see here today.
Okay, so I'm glad you guys could join me today. We're really gonna get into it, and I'm really excited about today's episode. Super excited about our sponsorship. We got our new sponsors. Give a shout out to Johnson & Johnson and all that wonderful good stuff. But let's dive right into it. When you think about the things that we ingest in our body and thinking about digestive health, it's very critical. Didn't think about this stuff when we were younger, but it is extremely critical when you think about everything that we put in this goes into all the different parts of our body. Even the things that we wear that get absorbed by our skin. You know, you got all of a sudden now you got dye-free laundry detergent and all these other wonderful things. Why you grab that, man? You think you got the dye-free on it? No, I'm just saying. But no, seriously.
Put the brand out there.
Right here. But the point is we really need to understand the things that we eat and how important it is our digestive health. There's, it's millions and millions of different microorganisms inside of our gut. Good, bad, and indifferent that create this happy balance that we need. And it's obviously important to feed that. And then you see in today's times, I do see the younger generation doing a little bit better than us. I will agree. I mean, would you agree with that?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to agree with that one. I'm not sure, man.
In terms of what? What you mean?
Are you talking in terms of what they're ingesting?
I'm talking about eating healthier. They got to be eating healthier just because of the times. I mean, think about the products we got now. Now it's cage-free chicken. I don't know what kind of chicken we was eating before, but cage-free. It's all these other different products that are...
They have more access to
Right. It's more common.
I think there's more information
and it's
readily available
but
in terms of the food that you eat. When we were coming up, there was no cage-free or worried about... red dye or all this other stuff. So I think the information is readily available now. We're a little smarter now.
I think the information's always been there. It just, again, we going to a point where it wasn't accessible to us.
Right.
Because there was always vegan options. There was always healthier options. But growing up where we grew up and was a dietary desert. So we didn't have the options of, we went to school, and you saw the food pyramid, calendar, talking about eat grains and this and the third, but when you came home to a dietary desert. So the options that we had were minimal. The same options, the game don't change, the players do. So the same food options that are available to the kids now were available to us then. But it was that knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that, but I would argue with the fact that when you come from our era, the food had less other additives put towards it. So it was less hormones and steroids and things added to our food back when we were younger. Because if you think about where we at, the population and increase, there's only one way. I mean, we all know chickens don't grow that fast. I mean, let's just be realistic. I mean, none of this stuff grows that fast. So it has to be sped up some kind of way. Yeah. And so just by back in the day, population-wise, then to now, it had to be better because you didn't have to you didn't have to produce so many things. So things were they still were caged and all that. I'm just saying the quality of food was a lot better back then than it is now because of the dynamics of everything we do now is mass produced. It's just like we got to hurry up and get it done.
See, I agree with that statement, but I think I kind of interpreted your initial statement talking about the kids today.
Yeah, I got
better than because man, when I go across these schools and these school systems and go in these cafeterias, and I see the options of food that are there, great options.
Right.
You know, the variety, diverse food.
Did we have those? Did we have them options?
Not like that. Not like that. We didn't have these. Options. I mean, they have options for salads and pita breads and.
Right.
But these kids, they want to get Takis.
Right.
You know, just like we wanted butter crunch. You know. So yeah, but I see there are a lot more options in these cafeterias that these scholars, these kids can actually choose from than we had, you know.
It's definitely more options. Is there, you know, think about all the products though. It's better dog food, it's better this and that. So ultimately, when you talk about our generation and what we took into our bodies and how we maybe historically as black men in general don't like to get checked up on and do the proper things that we need to do for our health. You add that with unhealthy living and the conditions that we just, I mean, I know for me, I ain't gonna say y'all, I did a whole lot of ripping and running. You know what I mean? And I remember running to the store and we didn't think about hand sanitizer and washing our hands. We'd be high-fiving, giving cats dap, and then go in the corner store, buy some pizza, licking their fingers and everything. So, our immune systems was different, but in the same breath, if we don't take care of our bodies and what we put in them, now later in life, the check engine light's on. Yeah, you got issues going on. So later in life, I'm gonna go to each one of you. Now later in life, I'll start with you, Tone. What is it that you might see as far as what you didn't do when you were younger with your health, as far as dietary-wise, that you're seeing some of the consequences and repercussions of that?
Man. Okay. So, first off, to what you're saying is, are we being reactive instead of being proactive?
Yeah, you could call it that, definitely.
Because that's what it is. Because when you find yourself in a situation where your health is dictating what you're going to do, you're being reactive. Because I'm in a place health-wise where I'm making dietary choices. I'm eating Activia for probiotic gut health. It's not something I thought about in my 20s, 30s, and 40s. Now I'm 50 and my doctor's like, hey, you got your gut health and all these things. So now I'm being reactive with the food I eat, with my health, to combat the poor choices that I made when I was 20, when I was 30. Because we had this talk from the last time the God Squad got together. We're like, all right, I'm getting them tasty cakes, 2 for $5 or whatever. Get the box, and it wasn't like 2 for $5, the boxes.
Go for the players,
right? So when you're eating them, and then you like, oh man, when you're young, you don't think about when you're young. When you're 20, you're in your teenagers, and you're 20, you're immortal. Right. When you're 40, 50, now you're you're thinking about mortality.
Sure.
You're immortal. You just assume that you're getting up tomorrow. Now you're like, man, I hope the Lord lets me see another day. So now you think about your mortality.
Yeah.
For me, my diet has changed. I'm in the process of moving my residence. So now I got to rebuild my gym in the house. I got to do physical things. And it's like when I have aches and pains, I go to the doctor. The doctor's like, well, what you eating? Are you active? So now I find myself doing things and being reactive, trying to change that to be more proactive, to incorporate healthy eating and healthy lifestyle as that's my prescription.
Okay, so heard all that. Dope. And the question is, one of them though. What's one thing? Sugar, salt. What's the result now that you might have abused then that you wish you would?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, you good. No,
Okay.
that was dope.
I'm good.
I mean, no. But I want to make sure we answer
I got bars to shoot. I got bars to shoot.
I just want to make sure we answer the question.
So one thing that I have reduced or eliminated from my diet is the consumption of soda.
Okay.
It's high in sugar. The carbonation leaches from your bones and things like that. So I have reduced almost to zero the consumption of soda. So now, if I want something sweet to drink, I don't even buy like apple juice or juice like that. I want juice, I'm going to the store, I buy fruits, put them in my Nama, and make cold pressed juice.
Okay.
And the reason why I do that is because it's a process. And you still get it's sugar.
Right.
So it's a whole process of doing it. So by the time I'm done doing it, it's like, do I even want this?
Right.
You know what I mean? So if I drink it, then it's like, I'm done. So I go for the natural fruit beverage, which is water. So like, I'm gonna sit there and scrub all that. Let me just drink some water.
Right.
So, and then I have sparkling water, like seltzer, but I reduced that too because of the carbonation in that. So soda or any carbonated beverage, that's what I've reduced from my diet.
Okay. What about you, Mo?
Dope, man. So what I've reduced, chips.
Chips?
Man, so one of the
Salt.
things, yeah. So as Tone was saying, didn't even think about it, right? Some things when we were younger didn't have to think because it was just an automatic.
Yeah.
Now when you start feeling those aches, start feeling that over the belt line, feeling like I'm bringing my leg up, tie my shoes up.
Got the little
start
kangaroo working
start
around.
feeling all those things.
Little kangaroo going on.
Man, you get those physical manifestations, they cause you to change some things, right?
Right.
So what I did was I saw a nutritionist, man. I saw a nutritionist, and one of the things that the nutritionist told me, when the nutritionist said, okay, what is the question you asked? What are the things that you need to let go somewhere?
Right.
So my number one was fruit juice.
Okay.
Easy for me to let that go though.
Why was it easy?
It's easy. Fruit juice was easy because I could just wake up and just get juice because, throughout the day I have bottles of water, but fruit juice was something I just go hard on. The cranberry, the cran grape, just go hard on.
Okay.
But it wasn't something that I really wanted. You understand? But chips, bruh. Chips would be like, Mose, come on. And my issue was, I would sit down, I would go into the lounge chair, and I have my chips next to me.
Yeah.
What was your preference? What type of chips we talking there?
Kettle cooked, barbecue kettle cooked chips.
That's the word.
Man. And you get you don't get the little dollar store joint. You got to get the whole family.
Family size.
Family size, baby. You got to get the family. So I would have them next to me, and I would just, before I know it, I'm done.
Yeah, bag is gone.
And now I'm going to the kitchen.
Looking for
I
another
gotta pop
bag.
some popcorn or look for another bag or get something else. So one of the things the nutritionist said to me, and it helped, and it was kind of like in education, we got this thing called chunking, right? And that's when you break down an assignment into little pieces. Break it down into little pieces so that it's easier for the scholars to digest, right? So the nutritionist told me, listen, instead of having that big bag next to you, why don't you just pour some on a napkin?
Okay.
Right? And just have those with you.
Yeah, just little,
and see how that works.
Yeah,
and what I start seeing, Tone, is what you said. The process.
Yeah.
It deterred me eating them and then like, tag, man, I gotta get back up and get some more.
Right.
It kind of deterred me. That process. When you said process, I was like,
you gotta trick yourself.
Yeah, you gotta trick yourself. That Jedi mind trick, right? Yeah. So
I had to do the same thing with something else, but it had nothing to do with. I had to do that with this casino. You know what I mean? Try all the different tricks. Leave your card out in the car. Now, but in all seriousness, yeah, you really do have to. I really consider when you do that, that's turning a weakness into a strength. Like if you know that you can't handle something, if you say, "Hey, I'm just not even going to put myself in that position," then that's turning your weakness into a strength because you're like, "Listen, I just know not even put myself there." Yeah. And so, I definitely understand the chips thing. Before I go to myself, I'm gonna go to Randy and see what his arch nemesis was of his childhood into his grown life.
Look, man, I don't want to get too deep into this, but when we say what did you kind of, cut out? I mean, listen, man, I at an early age, so I think when I was in my, I don't know, let's just say 30s. I mean, no pork, no red meat for me. All I do was chicken and fish, poultry.
Okay.
All right, King.
Yeah, now mainly it's just because of, like I said, I ain't gonna get too deep with this, but how a lot of the food is processed. I did some research on that, how the food is processed. Yeah. So I nixed that stuff. A long time.
And that's okay though, dog, man, because that's the reality of where we're at. I mean, we cannot address the elephant in the room all the time. It just get bigger. But it's because of foods that we eat.
Now with the, like the sweets and stuff like Mo's, I was always a big on chips. Just the crunch, if I got a turkey sub or something, with the chips. You gotta have some, chips with that. But
what would you go to?
Oh man, like Lay's, Lay's potato chips, man. Lay's potato chips. But the way I look at it, and you guys were talking about Mo, you said, put it on a napkin or whatever. To me, some of those things are just in moderation. So I got on my phone like a app where I input every last thing that I eat so I can know that I'm on track. And until I started doing that, I think people underestimate some of the things that they consume. Until I started tracking it, I'm like, oh man, did I really just have like 500 calories worth of? Right. So, I really, I track what I eat, and the chips, I ain't gonna say I cut it all out completely, but it's in moderation. When I was a kid, it didn't matter. Like you said, I'd take a whole bag, go buy another bag, and hey, it is what it is. But as we get older, ladies and gentlemen, you can't, to me that's reckless. I can't do that now, so to me, chips and everything, that's in moderation, but I cut out, a lot of stuff that I consider, harmful as I age, so that's the way I handle it.
To piggyback on what you're saying, that app, I use that app too. Yeah. It's dope. Yeah, because what happens is, it forces you to look at
That's a free plug, by the way.
Yeah.
You whoever after.
Hit him up so we can boost you some more, get your numbers up.
That's a free plug.
But what it does is it makes you.
I'm gonna tell you.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
Coming to the shot, man. I ain't want to say nothing to mess up the program. You good, Rand.
I saw it, but I didn't want to say that.
Tone was like, Tone was like.
I'm trying to make it to the next episode.
We can get a little close. We all got a COVID shots and everything.
But the app, what it does is it makes you look at like for me, it makes me look at quantity over quality. Okay. And it's like, if you're going, all right, I'm gonna consume 1,500 or 2,000 calories, are you gonna waste 500 calories on cupcakes? Or are you gonna eat this, 3 ounces of turkey or whatever? And then you find yourself, when you do that, you find that you can eat more if you want to eat more, and it's quality eating versus eating empty calories.
I got you.
So,
yeah. I mean, for me, I think it was a little bit of everything. I was not right at all. First of all, it wasn't nothing for me to spend.
We all had that sweet tooth.
Yeah, I was gonna say $50, $60 on some tasty cakes and some snick'em snack'ems. And so, that was the issue. Fried foods. Yeah, man. Those type of things. And so I had to give up definitely fried foods. Snick'em snack'ems. Definitely gave them up a lot. I mean, so if you already in like a horrible place, when you make some progress, you're still in a horrible place. You know what I'm saying? So I made some progress over the years, but now because of my cancer and all that, I have like really reduced it. And it's crazy. Actually, sugar almost is kind of like makes me nauseated now when I take it, or when I eat it. So that's the thing I had to cut out. Had to start drinking way more water. I definitely wasn't doing that. I definitely, you said about sodas, right?
That was Tone.
That was Tone.
Tone was the sodas. So yeah, that was my thing. But I used to only drink clear sodas. So my thing was ginger ale. I used to think that was the thing that was making me not get sick. Because I was like, you know, they give it to you flat.
Yeah,
when you're sick, growing up,
ginger ale is like medicine.
Yeah, you're right. Like these
ale and crackers.
Right, ginger ale and crackers, right? Like
this is everything.
This is, you know, we didn't need any huge pharmaceutical company. We just ginger ale, like Canada Dry, or whatever brand you bought.
Saltines and ginger ale.
Yeah. So I drank the ginger ale and things of that, you know, that type of thing. But the carbonation, along with the high, you know, fructose in it and all that, it just started doing different things to me later in life. So I cut the sodas out completely. I don't drink any sodas. Don't really drink any juice, but water, and I don't have those fancy tools y'all got yet. But I do got a little.
It ain't fancy.
Just
download it on your phone, baby.
I understand. But yeah, I'm trying to just eat just healthier, period. But in today's times, when it comes to, you know, we've lost quite a few recent hip hop icons due to health conditions.
Yeah.
Fat Man Scoop,
K-Slay.
Yeah, K-Slay,
DMX.
Yeah, right. Clark Kent.
Clark Kent, yeah.
So, and then there's other hip hop from that era. I'm starting to see a lot of hip hop folks be a little bit more conscientious about their health. And one of them is Styles P.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, Styles P is doing some really good things with not just good health, but putting out a lot of natural products. And
juice bar.
They got a juice bar, right? Got a juice bar, but they got some other great things. I think they got some sea moss type stuff. And I just think that we're in a state in hip hop and that era where it's important for us, even with the, you know, my foundation, it's important for us to talk about our health and using hip hop as a vehicle. And as you can see now, we starting to see some of our greats pass away. Once again, coming from that same era we talking about of, we wasn't worrying about, you know, all the food we was eating, White Castle burgers and all that other kind of stuff.
White Castle.
I think it's because, again, when we were younger, we didn't think. A lot of things that were, like you was ripping and running the streets, we grew up in an era where we like, yo, I'm black, I'm 24, that's it. So as like, once you hit 25, you're like, wait a minute, statistically, I'm not supposed to be here.
Right.
So a lot of our legends, the people that we grew up listening to and admiring as hip hop artists, they thought the same way. So now you see them, they're like, I'm 40, I'm 50, I'm still around. What? Wait a minute, now I got this whole third quarter, that analogy we use about football, third quarter, fourth quarter of life to live. What I'm gonna do? Some of them try and reverse the curse. So that's what we're seeing a lot of.
Right. Yeah, I think in general, I think you hit on a great point, but I think in general, we just really, when you get older, you start to see your mortality, and it starts to get like, hey man, and then there's no denying it. No matter what you think in your head, your body tells you exactly where you at. Yeah. It tells you exactly where you at, what you didn't take care of, what you did take care of.
Yes.
And typically, every once in a blue moon, some crazy nuance just comes out there. Yeah. I know, and you can chime in. I wake up nowadays sometimes and something hurting on me I didn't even know existed. Like I'm like, it'd be a muscle, a ligament, a bone somewhere that I didn't even know there was something going on there. But I think it's important for us to change our diet now, you know, in today's time. So what do you think is the issue for people from our generation? Do you think it's easy for them to change their dietary habits and what they're eating? Because I think if it was, we would have a lot better outcomes going on right now. But what do you think is the bottleneck, or what's holding us back from doing that? And you can keep it 100. Like, I mean, I don't want to make it surface wise.
Right.
I mean, like, if we got to, because we do a lot of self-inflicting things
No
to
doubt.
ourselves as a culture. So,
No doubt.
I mean,
Definitely. I'm gonna kind of marry what you and Tone was just talking about, and going back to something that you mentioned earlier, G, the question you talk about kids today too. And one of the things that I think when we think about hip hop artists and we think about, you know, us coming up, we think about we didn't have any messaging that was transferred to us that said, okay, you still need to be conscious of this. There was no messaging there for us to be aware. Now I think about today, there is messaging in school curriculum. I mean, you have mindfulness, you have wholeness centers in schools.
Right, that's true.
You have yoga classes. Yeah. You have all these things now. The message is being transferred to them at a young age, right? So now that they can grow with this as they get older. Yeah. And I think about Heather B. Right? Glocks down. I think about Heather B, man. She has a platform on Sirius XM, and she has multiple cookbooks. Yeah. She's always talking about health and the earth, right? She's always talking about this is the healthier way to cook your greens. Here's a way to cook your so-and-so, right? And she always has guests on there. Again, she's transferring the message, right? She's transferring the message to not just the hip hop culture, but to all her listeners, right? Right. So I think one of the things that makes this easier, in a sense, for those that are coming up now is that, okay, the message is being transferred to them, not that they just have access to it, but it's being transferred on a lot of different vehicles, right? I think about, you know, what Has was saying, Tone was saying, the app. I used that app. It didn't work for me. I have a scale that I was weighing. I have a digital scale. I was weighing my food. Didn't work for me because I didn't really internalize it. I truly didn't internalize the benefit. Right. Until we internalize the benefit, I don't think we're going to change. Like we was talking about earlier, I was saying, man, going to the gym, being there at 2:15 in the morning, it's easy now. Yeah. It's easy.
Yeah, once you get yourself acclimated.
Right. Yeah. I see the benefit, right?
Yeah.
There's this thing, it's a sister out of Philly. Her last name is Green. I wish I knew it. But she has her and another lady in Maryland. They have a farm. And acres and acres. I think it's, I'm going to remember. I think it's called Mount Pleasant Acres. I can't remember. But they bring a lot of kids there. They do a lot of education, teaching you how to grow your own food, right? And they talk about, you know, pesticides. They don't use it. Everything is natural with them, right? But one of the things they were talking about was whey, W-A-Y.
Okay.
They were talking about whey, and whey is, you know, when the enslaved people came out of slavery, not freedom. She wanted to make it clear, not when they became free, right? But when the enslaved came out of slavery, there was a way they had to travel. Right? There was a way they had to travel. And as we look at the way that we travel on life, we do have to look back. And we have to look at our progress. So my point is, we have to consider our way on this, what we're ingesting on this being healthier, and applauding, congratulating, celebrating ourselves as we accomplish. Oh, I went to the gym one day. You know, I got 30 minutes in. Or I went to the gym 2 weeks, or I brought my calorie intake down, right? So I think they encourage, you know, everybody is that, listen, celebrate yourself as you go on that way, as you travel past each milestone, right? So I think that's how we start to overcome, not set these grand goals, right?
Right.
And then be discouraged with these grand goals if we don't reach those and achieve them, right, Tone?
Right.
So that's what I think, man. I think, you know, it becomes difficult when we don't internalize.
Don't think we ain't see you slide that in there for February.
Yeah, you could. Has, what do you think
Listen,
about?
Man, I think we are all a product of, you know, like comfort food. We all came up on what's called, you know, comfort food.
Right.
Fried this, fried chicken, you know, fried everything.
Right.
And, you know, later in life, if you know, like I lost some uncles, some aunts, just some relatives, and we all got smarter. It's like, hey, listen, you can't eat fried chicken every day. You can't eat fried this. And that's what I alluded to when we first started this conversation. When I mean the knowledge or the information is more readily available. I had no idea when I was in my teens that you can't go to McDonald's every day. You can't can't go to you can't eat. I'm sorry. You can't eat, just fried chicken, fried food.
Hey, take it back to the essence. Take it back to the essence.
Don't kill.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's good food. It's good food. It's good food.
Yeah.
But you just can't eat certain things every day.
Nah.
You gotta,
apologize to Black History Month.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Because, that's good chicken. Is good for you. You just can't eat it every day. But you can't eat stuff like that every day.
Right.
You gotta, you said something about the way that you cook things, or Heather B.
Right. No Crisco.
Until I learned that, I'm like, oh, I did not realize that. So, I got to make some changes in how I eat. Right. I didn't know that until, you do a little research. Oh, okay, I didn't realize you can't do that. So, that's how I, kind of got myself, straightened up, or at least health-wise. Aesthetically, genetically, I've always been kind of good. Can, at least have the appearance of being in shape. But one day when I went to the doctor, like, hey, man, your blood pressure low. I'm like, it is? Well, why is that? Well, you probably eat too much of this, too much of that. Duly noted. I'm going to make that change, right now. Having the hindsight or foresight, like, I want to be here for my kids.
Exactly.
I want to be here for my family. In order to do that, I know I had to make some changes to eat, properly, which I think we've all come to that, realization. Like you said, we're in the, I don't know, Tony, you said the third quarter, fourth quarter, or whatever.
Yeah. Some of us is in some of the 2 minute one. Some of us in a 2 minute warning.
What happened was we was having a conversation, and I told G, I said, yo, when I hit 50, I said, man, it's like you live your first life. It's like the first half. I said, I'm coming out the second half. And G was like, Tone, you might be late in the third quarter going into the fourth quarter. You think you're going to be 100. I'm like, man, talk about Debbie Downer.
I wasn't, listen, but I was just trying to make a point. Like,
yeah, no, it was real. It was real.
Most people don't live to 100, so we in the fourth quarter.
But to answer your question, this platform is one of those things.
Right.
Because the issue,
Appreciate it.
Let's get
the reason
we ain't got nothing to drink. Let's get drink trash.
So the reason being is because one of the issues that we have as a people, not just as Black people, but as a people in general.
Okay.
And you said it, I said it. There's two things. It's two-pronged. Is education. So we have to educate ourselves. And the other thing is fear. You know what I mean? And it's fear and education. And I'll give a good example. My father is diabetic.
Okay.
Right? This dude lost 3 of his toes, then he got half his foot cut off. And I'm like, Dad, so you gotta change your diet. You gotta change how you eat. Oh, no, well, I'm gonna drink this instead of that. I'm like, dude, all right, well, they get hack off your ankle next. They're gonna keep going up till when? Till ain't nothing left to chop off.
Yeah, man.
And the thing is, that's education. That part, all right, well, they're gonna take that off, but I'm still good. No. Stop eating that and they ain't gonna take nothing else. So that's an educational thing. And then there's a fear factor because, like you said, if we make attainable goals and celebrate those things instead of making lofty goals and then go, I didn't make it. All right, well, I'm going back to the sofa and get the chips again. You know what I mean? Right. So it's like we have to celebrate each other, lift each other up. So Mose, I ain't giving you flowers because you said you going to the gym at 2:15. That's what's up.
Thank you, brother.
Randy's always been, he's been the grinder. And in this podcast, in this forum, from the last time we met, I didn't know that you're like, yo, I'm genetically disposed to having certain things, so this is why I eat this way. This is why I do this way. You know what I mean? G, you have this platform. You like if this is spades, you holding the big joker. Which you think, not that you want to, but you are. And we had conversations about that, saying that heavy is the head that wears the crown because there are other people that need this platform. to need to hear your voice, because they're going through what you're going through.
And it's really all of us. It's not just me.
Everybody's got their own thing.
I feel like sometimes black culture just need to be on the couch in general, but that's a whole nother story.
Well, yeah, that's true.
We need a therapist. But us as men, yes, I definitely concur with the fact that, we tried to create this platform, or we created this platform to address that. The fact that to see brothers that we don't have doctorates. I mean, I don't know, maybe y'all might, but we didn't. Oh, my fault, brother. I'm just saying, but we don't have medical, we don't have that medical professional knowledge. However, what we do have knowledge of, that we do have PhDs is where we come from our environment, and being the ethnicity that we are. We've been this from the jump. And I think it's important to know historically that us as men, we have to stop, and I think I've said this before, we got to stop using the emergency room as our PCP. And I'm not, for us, we're not ones to promote, hey, just go pop a pill. I'm not saying that either. I have my own personal belief that you need all three areas. You need religion first, and you definitely need God. And then God has worked through man since, since the beginning of time. So then why would he not work through man to create some of these medicines? That's how, but, and this is, and I know I don't want to jump off of it, but I must make this point that just popped in my head. The thing that kills me about us as a people, especially men, I don't want to Tuskegee, they was putting all the syphilis and don't get it confused. I am not minimizing it. We all know what happened. But what I'm saying is they so strong-willed when it comes to that, right? But they'll go down the corner and get their Newports.
How about that?
They'll go get the liquor. And it is clear as day, more than some of the stuff we're talking about, what happens or what the results of that is.
Right.
But we don't have all that huffing and puffing. And it's even like inside your household, it's not even really shunned upon, or like somebody might snap out and say, pour somebody's liquor out because you're drinking too much, or hide their cigarettes, or won't go get those things. But we won't do that when it comes to our health and eating and going to the doctor. So that's what my big thing is, and what this platform is for, is to to break all those stigmas and stereotypes, have them real conversations that should be normal, but they're not because we keep avoiding them. That's we got to normalize them at some point. Yeah. You got to start somewhere, and that's what our platform is for. And what the type of guests I like to have on here is cats that's going to be talking real, and even the medical professionals that I bring on. I do intentionally choose the ones that I want because I know they have that other component I'm looking for. Right. They're gonna be able to translate and keep it real for our viewers. But
what if I can? And
you may not. I'm sorry, you go
but because
I'm running this show.
Because we're talking about health, hope, and hip hop, and it just kept sticking in my head because backstage when we was talking, and we was talking about what some of the things we were going to touch base on. One thing that keeps coming up in my head is education, and one thing that I, when I was still a fan of hip hop, but back in the day, when Randy was talking about how stuff that he eats, and I said Kane, because Kane had a bar. He said no pork on my fork, strictly fish on my dish, right? And then KRS-One, in my philosophy, he was like, no chicken, no turkey, no hamburger, because to me that's suicide, self-murder. Right. The thing that I liked about hip hop back then, and I feel that from the golden era that was missing, was that it was edutainment.
That's exactly
It was teaching. Right. It was like, and there was a movement where people were starting to go, all right, I don't listen to the dude down the street, but I listen to Kane, I listen to KRS. Maybe I should, because there was a time that I was going, you know what? I'm gonna stop eating that. Right. I was getting on my turkey burgers and stuff like that, and then
bean pies.
Then we hit the bean pies. Then we hit the shiny suit era, and then I went back to eating potato chips.
Then all the other rappers came out, made us go drink and smoke and do all that. But you make a great, you make a great point. That's a great segue to, as we try to close the program. But to your point, that's what our foundation, the Health, Hope, and Hip Hop Foundation, is about. It's not a disrespect to the newer generation of hip hop. I wanted to make sure we clear on that. First of all, I ain't one to really knock nobody making no money.
Nah.
I ain't here to judge nobody. However, if someone asks me what I thought, and what's important is that when you think about the golden era of hip hop and having those different variation of artists, it has some kind of substance to it. It has some kind of substance to it. So for instance, if you were feeling like you was in a happy mood, you bought particular artists. You bought Jazzy Jeff or somebody like that has songs, but you didn't expect to hear on a Jazzy Jeff album something about pain. You heard Will Smith just have a huge interview of talking about he always wanted to rap like that, but he always was trying to make this super universal happy thing. But my point is back then, that hip hop told stories. It was a voice for the voiceless, especially from underrepresented communities. But it had, like you said, all those, as they call them, Easter eggs, but bars in there that taught us things that we might not have didn't know, that we might didn't know. And that was a whole line that Jay-Z had, like, you don't need to come to the hood. I'm gonna teach you what the hood is.
Yeah.
And that's where hip hop is. And so why can't we take it and use it as a vehicle now and go back to that from where its essence was and use it for the tool. It's still just a tool, but transfer the message, transfer the message, change the ideology of how we think about and just change the format. And it's not complex because it's the original format that it came.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way, when it got commercialized, like a lot of times where products get commercialized, I'm not gonna say, but that's where the water gets muddy.
Yeah.
And I say all that to say is that it's very important for us men. You mentioned uneducated. I'll put another word in there. It might be hard to hear, and it's okay. I'm gonna look this way. It might be hard to hear. When I feel like us as men, and not just black men, when you start making decisions about hiding your health from your family, or start making solo decisions, even if there's something wrong, and don't get it checked out, I feel like we really don't give that the attention it deserves from a standpoint. I think it's one of the most selfish acts you can do. Because in your mind, you're doing whatever you think you're doing. That's the epitome of selfishness, but don't realize how many people depend on you. You might think it's just your immediate people, like your kids and stuff, but you have friends, you have people that you don't even know that might not even talk to you yet, that you're an inspiration to them, but they don't just come and run up to you and tell you. But the point is it's selfish because you're not taking care of yourself, and that is the most important person, is yourself. Because if you ain't right, nobody ain't right. So I want to go with a quick round table before we close out. I got a question, but they've been on the show before, but I'm still gonna ask them. But I just want everybody to give their one nugget on, telling the listeners about the importance of what we eat and making those changes. And I'll start with you, Randy.
Like I said before, I want to be around. There's, certain milestones that I want to see. I want to see my girls get married, grandkids, grow up, and just be here for my wife, be here for my family. If I don't take care of myself, then, like you said, you already talked about it, selfish. If I can't take the time to take care of my own, self-care, do the things that I'm supposed to do, or just try, live reckless, eat reckless, then what exactly am I doing? So, I think it's very important, the things that you put in you. You got to make sure you're putting the right things in you. And again, I'm not saying that you got to cut out, all sweets or things like that, but just take things in moderation. Things got to be in, moderation. Eat properly, take care of your body, make sure if there's something doesn't feel right, you let your physician know, talk it over with your spouse or whoever, you know, whoever you trust in your family to make sure you get yourself checked out so we can be around here. Take care of each other.
Word.
Moving forward. So baby steps are still moving forward.
Yes.
The ideal is you don't stay a baby forever. So that's the whole point is. It's like just make baby steps, but you can't stay a baby forever. Mose.
I would say definitely know yourself first. And one way to really know yourself is see a nutritionist, because giving up red meat is not for everyone.
Correct. That's correct.
I did it for 6 months and my health got worse.
Understood.
Right? So we all are created, you know, uniquely. So you need to know yourself. You need to know what your BMI, you need to know your body, your mass, and you need to know everything about yourself as much as you can.
Correct.
See a nutritionist, get on a plan, right? And that's going to help us what we ingest, what we actually eat. That will help us better. That will give us some realistic goals, some tangible goals. And the other thing that I would encourage people to do is anytime, what I do is I record. Every time I go to the doctors, I record my conversation, because I need to recall and play back to myself, and then I send the message to my wife. So she has it.
As we close out the show, like I always do, I like to ask my guests, when you want to get hyped up, geeked up, you know, psyched up, what's one hip hop song? Now they've already been on, they told me what it is. I'm gonna see if they picked the same song. So I'm gonna start with Tony.
All right. The one song that I've been listening to lately to get me hyped up, Cool G Rap, DJ Polo. It's a demo.
Okay. Mose, what you
So
got?
first it was Annie Up, obviously.
That's right. Okay, good job.
However, lately, when I'm in the gym, Light It Up, Redman's new album, Light It Up.
Ooh, it is hot. It is fire. Redman's album is hot. Randy Haskins, what's
Yeah,
that?
I'm not going to use the same thing, you know, last summer was Gangstar, but, you know, sometimes if I really, really want to get hyped up, you know, it's a little disrespectful. I go to that LL Cool's Can I Bust?
Yeah, for me, I'm gonna go West Coast, man. I like to join Ice Cube, the joint Keep It Gangster. You know what I mean? I get pumped up when I hear that joint. So, as we always do, we thank you for joining the program. As we like to say, we are not healthcare professionals. These are just opinions from some cats that's been through some things. And as I always like to say, peace out.
Keep 50 guessing.
50 guessing.